Time for another Soccer Down here 1v1, and we dip back into the NPSL with one of the new members up in the Northeast. Time to catch up on what's going on with the Jackson Lions out of New Jersey. Hanging out with us, one of the owners, Mike Durazzo. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
Hey, thanks for having us.
So let's go to the absolute beginnings of all of this. Where did this idea come from about joining the NPSL for the upcoming season?
Joining the NPSL, it's probably something that we've thought about for the last 3 years. We were actually in 2019, we were an amateur side that merged with Atlantic City FC. They came to us and they just wanted a pipeline of players, and they knew a lot of our players played year round. So our players at the time, we weren't participating in the NPSL. So, we asked all our players if Atlantic City took most of them, would they be interested in playing there? And we did. And the next year, it just really didn't work out because we have veteran players, and they would house college kids, and the college kids wanted to train morning and night, where most of our guys are former pros or former college guys that have jobs. And these guys just wanted to do training twice a week, late at night, and play games during the week in their local indoor leagues. And it just got to the point that our U23 system that we had was just growing more and more and more, that we eventually just decided, hey, why not do this ourselves?
So since you have now gone full cannonball into the swimming pool for the NPSL, and this is, it's a couple of days official as you and I are talking, what's the response been like so far now that you've made the decision is public, and now you're heading in this direction? What's the response been like early on?
Well, we've had a lot more players reach out to us from all, really from all over the country, which was, surprising. But the response is really, really good with our, the youth club that we're affiliated with, which is Jackson Soccer Club. They've been around since the early 70s. And it's, they're excited because it gives those kids, a pipeline to play at the highest level after their college seasons, or even during their college seasons. But, the social media reaction has been good. A lot of people said it was long overdue that we joined.
For those that don't know, and I know that, and we'll get into the East region and the conference setup and possible partners as we get into later in the discussion. But for those that don't know about the soccer footprint and the landscape and how it is a part of the fabric of the Jackson, Toms River, New Jersey area there in the tri-state and the Northeast, can you break down what the sport is and what kind of an impact it has there in New Jersey and the surrounding areas?
The sport has grown so much, especially in Ocean County, where we're located, that they're building 2 huge complexes in Jackson, right outside of Great Adventure, that's going to house, I think, close to 15 outdoor fields, one big, I think it's 6,000 seat stadium they're building, 2 hotels, which would bring in players, teams from all Northeast for youth tournaments there year round. They're looking at, our club, our youth club alone has close to 800 players in it. It's the sport is really, really growing down here, that most of the players down here go out of state or play up north to play in these USL 2s or NPSL teams. So we definitely noticed a lot of local talent reaching out to us after the announcement was made too.
When it comes to where they're going to house you, when it comes to conferences, I mean, obviously, if you just look at the conferences, it looks like you could go one of 2 ways. If it's North Atlantic, you're looking at Hartford, Kingston, New York Shockers, Vallejo, Boston City, and Greater Lowell. If it's Keystone, you become the 9th member there. You're with Westchester, Atlantic City, Motown, Monmouth, First State, Electric City, Shock, Torch, and Hershey. Have they told you what direction they're leaning yet when it comes to where they're going to house you guys next year?
No, they told us it could be any. They said they couldn't promise us anything, and we totally understood. Really, we would like to be in the Keystone Conference because we do have great friendly rivalries with FC Motown and Westchester too. We're also great friends off the pitch with those two teams too, and we're familiar with most of those teams in the area as well as FC Monmouth and Atlantic City. So we're prepared to go in whatever conference they put us in, but we're hoping that we're in the Keystone Conference.
So when it comes to the Keystone, what's it like when you guys are lined up going up against Westchesters and Motowns and the rivalries? What is that rivalry and those 90 minutes like for those who haven't had the chance to see it?
Well, lately we've been doing good against Westchester, but I think we've only, in these last 7 years, I think we only have 2 wins over Atlantic, over FC Motown. But I know those guys would be excited for us to be in the Keystone Conference as well.
When it comes to to-do lists, and this is the question that is usually one of my default questions each and every time a new franchise comes online. I know that when it comes to to-do lists that we have in our lives, it can be in a bunch of different places. It can be, I pull out my stylus on my cell phone, I'll write myself a note, I'll file it away. I'm old school. I have legal pads and notebooks. It could be on your BlackBerry if you want to date yourself. It could be on a board that's attached to your fridge with magnets that you work with dry erase, or it could be one of those big 4x6 foot boards that is off to either your left or your right as you and I are talking. I don't know how big your to-do list is, but where is it? And knowing that the season is going to be here before we know it, what are some of those things that you're looking to cross off of that list in short order?
In what sense? As in getting ready for the season or our goals?
Well, let's start with the season and getting everything ready so this franchise can hit the ground running when it comes to year one. But let's start with the off the field stuff to get you ready for on the field. Where is that to-do list and what's on it?
So the first thing is probably personnel. We haven't we haven't announced a coach yet, but our coach is going to be Brad Fraley, who's been our coach for the last 5 years, and he was also the coach in Atlantic City when we were there in 2019. So he's familiar with the Keystone Conference and the NPSL teams too. To be honest, the first things we've done since the announcement last week is we just want to figure out game day responsibilities, game day operations, what we're going to do to attract people into the stands, reaching out to the local youth teams to get them to come support us. And just, game day operations, we just wanted to treat it in a little bit more professional manner than we do now, our games now. We want to make it an event for the parents that come watch us play. And we want to make it a place where the kids come and enjoy the sport, but also enjoy the activities that go around the game day operation. So that's right now on the top of our to-do list. Second would probably be roster, because we have a team that plays year round of veteran guys, but we are looking forward to bringing in these college players who will compete with our guys that we have now and just add to the depth of our roster. So those two have been the top 2 things that we've put together as to-do lists for the upcoming season.
Because I know that when it comes to what you and the other owners and Brad as your coach, you're looking for a particular kind of individual who will not just represent Jackson on the pitch, but out in the community as well. I know that you're looking for a specific kind of individual that will help represent you, especially for something that is as crucial as this first year launch, and this first year will be in the NPSL.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Our players, they do that now with the Jackson Youth Club. It's sometimes it's a great scene, like when you see after the games that the youth players come to our players, ask them for autographs and stuff and take pictures with them. We want to take that to a whole nother level with the NPSL and to other youth clubs besides Jackson, just to connect with the community around us.
Mike Durazzo, one of the owners for Jackson Lions, one of the new entries into NPSL, hanging out with us for another couple of minutes here for a Soccer Down Here 1v1. Then what are your expectations on the field in year one, knowing that you have these rivalries already? If we go through the supposition that you're in the Keystone for part of this answer, you've got rivalries already if they let you go into the Keystone. This we know, and that gets to continue. If they put you in another conference, obviously it's new partners, it's new dance partners, and you get to build new rivalries there. What are the expectations that you and the team have for this first year, knowing that it's going to be a sprint to get done to try to get into a postseason? What are your expectations in year one?
Well, definitely just to finish it enough to make the playoffs in the conference. Last year we were teamed up with most of our players were teamed up with Monmouth, and the one thing we would tell the Monmouth coaching staff is just like, listen, get us in the playoffs. Our players, they're capable of making that run happen if they're all there and everything's clicking at the right time. Based on the success we've had, the other thing we didn't mention, we had five of our players that were on that FC Motown team that made the national final in 2018 also too. So our players, they're familiar with with success in the NPSL, and that's what they're looking forward to, and that's what they're excited here too. The Keystone Conference is tough with those teams too. In Atlantic City last year, they really did a good job of bringing in some quality players, and they brought in a quality coach. And FC Monmouth is going to do a great job of attracting top-notch players in this area, college players in this area. It's hard to just say, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to win. We just want to compete and make the playoffs, because once the playoffs happen, teams that are clicking could just go on a perfect run.
Now it's time for the promo opportunity for you when it comes to everything that's going on with Jackson Lions. For those that want to keep an eye on things, want to subscribe, where can they reach out to you guys on social media to keep an eye on what's going on? Because between now and the beginning of the season, it'll be here before we know it.
Oh, our Twitter at Jackson Lions FC, and the same handle is for our Instagram and our Facebook.
Mike Durazzo, one of the owners, Jackson Lions, the NPSL. They're going to be in the East region. It'll be interesting to see where you fall. I know that there are preferences. It'll be interesting to see where things are. Thanks for hanging out with us for a Soccer Down Here 1v1. Congratulations on birthing the franchise on the NPSL side of things. We know it's going to be a sprint, and we will be keeping an eye on you in the East region coming up very soon. We'll be keeping an eye. Thanks for hanging out with us for a Soccer Down Here 1v1.
All right. Thank you.